that cross your head when you're bored and no one ever talks about. From motivation, controversy, and everything in between. Welcome to Boredom.
Alright,
We're live.
we are live. Let's go ahead and do the intro a little bit.
All right, guys, welcome to Boredom After Dark.
Boredom After Dark. We're about to talk about some crazy ass shit. You better cover your ears, throw your kids into the room, lock the room.
Throw your kids into the river.
Closet. And I was like, whoa, what's wrong with you?
I thought you were about to say throw your kids into the river. So
Yeah,
Wow, you're worse.
See, he's worse. I was just suggesting to throw your kids into a room with earbuds in. Alright.
so today's topic is
Hold on,
pinche
hold
fantasmos.
Yes, for today's topic is going to be about, hopefully, ghosts.
And
Now
ghost
it's-
herpes. I want to not, right? But from what I've seen, I can't say that they don't exist. Like,
I'm kind of in the same boat where I'm like, I don't, like, I want to not believe in ghosts, but like, because there's so many like videos out there on like YouTube.
It's
and
also what
TikTok.
you define as ghost. You could say, oh, spooky, Scooby-Doo, dead person, whatever.
Yeah.
But it's also like, if you think of it as like the energy from a person.
Yeah, for sure. But that's the other thing about it. Like, I try not to believe it just because it's like, I don't know what it is, but like, and the other thing about it is like YouTube channels and stuff like that, like ghost hunters.
yeah, a lot of them are
TikToks.
clickbait bullshit.
Yeah, a lot of it's clickbait. A lot of it obviously looks fake. Now, granted, maybe even the fake ones are the more realistic ones. I don't know. But off of experience alone, I can see why ghosts would be real.
Mm-hmm.
So, who wants to go first? Like, we can talk about our own experiences, what we know about it, what's going on.
So, I mean, mine's pretty light and fairly easy to tell. So, like, eventually I'd like to tag on to this podcast where we bring people in, or maybe we just make that one of the things of, you know, that we talk to people about. But, like, I'd really love my dad to come on and talk about some of the things that he's witnessed as a security guard in some places. And pretty crazy. And, like, you've known my dad. He's not one to fib on shit. Like, he might tell a white lie or something like that, and it maybe mess with you a little bit. But, like, you can tell, just like when you were talking about the shit that you saw, like, you can tell when someone's telling the truth and when they legitimately believe in what they're talking about versus, like, someone who's just fabricating some bullshit. But, like, for me personally, I've had a couple of experiences. One that, like, I never could understand, but, like, even to this day, even though it's a totally different person who lives in the house, they've completely remodeled the house, like, being in this room, like, I fucking can't. Like, I get the heebie-jeebies. I'm getting them fucking right now just talking about this shit. So, like, when I was a kid, I had my great-grandfather and my great-grandmother. And I used to go to my great-grandfather's house all the time. And it was Papa Chess and Mama is what we called her. We all called her Mama. So Mama had this little, like, sewing room or whatever in the back of the house. So, like, whenever you went into the house, like, they had the front door, but just like everyone else in, like, the deep south, no one ever uses their front door. They use their side door, their garage door. They're just like, oh, well, the front door just kind of inconvenience. And they always have, like, a couch in front of the door or some shit. So, like, you couldn't use the door if you wanted to. But either way, so you go in through there, and it was like the dining room / den / kitchen, and then you would go down the hallway, and on the right would actually be the living room where the front door actually came into the house. But, like, no one ever actually sat there. But there was a little bit of a seating arrangement in there, and, like, I would always play with toys in there and whatnot. Then you had one of the first bedrooms was on the left. Then you had another bathroom that's on the right, just past the living room. Then you have another bedroom on the left, and then you have two more bedrooms all the way at the end of the hall. If you go all the way to the end and you turn to the left, that was the room that I would stay in when I would stay there. But if you went to the right, that was Mama's sewing room. Now, I'm not sure, but from what I've gathered and from what I understand and what I recall, Mama died in that room. Okay? So, like, when I would go down that hallway, if I was on the right side of the hallway and I'd be all the way at the end, like, I would feel a presence of something in there. Like, legit, to my bones, I would feel this. Like, I was scared to open the door because I felt something there, right? And so, like, every now and then I'd catch a glimpse in there because someone would be going in there for something or whatever. But, like, dude, for some reason I had this heavy aura, or this heavy feeling that there's something in there, something's not right, something. Well, with that house, so my great-grandfather had 3 daughters and 1 son. One of his daughters stayed on that property because connected to the house, like, you had the carport, then you had a little walkway, and then there was another building that was my aunt's beauty salon, where she ran a business from home, and then in the back she had a movable trailer home, right? So she stayed on the property, and she ran her little beauty salon right at the front. So I was there all the time as a kid, growing up, and like when I was young, I really don't have any memories of Mama, but apparently one of her favorite things that I used to do was, there's this place called Falks, Faulks, and it's a tire place over there. And I would just like stand in front of the TV, and when the commercial would come on, I'd be like, "Go to Falks, go to Falks," and she just thought that was fucking hilarious. But apparently, her and I used to be really close, which makes sense because me and my great grandfather were really close. But either way, so I was over there, and my Aunt Christine had bought me a BB gun, and my mom was like, "You can't have BB gun." So I would only be able to shoot it whenever I'd go to Christine's house. My mom wasn't around. Well, I go in, so like my grandmother drops me off there one day. I go into Christine's beauty salon. I'm like, "Hey, I'm gonna go get my BB gun so I can go shoot." She's like, "Okay." So I go into the house. Now, they have these rocking chairs that used to be in my great-grandfather's house. And I'm going to try to look up a little picture of them right quick. But they're like wire rocking chairs. And so the bottom of it's kind of like a spring.
Oh, super squeaky.
It wasn't squeaky.
Really?
So it wasn't squeaky. But it like, because it's a spring, like, let me see if I can look up like.
They're pretty resistant.
Yes. Very resistant.
Yeah,
like they're
really push.
Yeah, they're not like a rocking chair where like the wind can move it. It's an actual spring. You have to compress it, right? So
those are fun.
Dude, I went in the house, and I shit you not, when I walked in, no one has been in that house for like 4 or 5 hours. Because she wakes up, she goes to work, and then whenever I would go in her house, like I would get her keys from her, and then go unlock it. So like the door was locked. I unlocked the door. Go in the house. She lives by herself. She's lived by herself for a long time. And the fucking chair is leaned back and then comes up and starts rocking. And so because the way that the chair is designed, when you get up, it just comes up. And then it just does a little, as the spring, does its thing, right? Dude, this fucking chair is going like full motion. And then just comes up and stops. And that was one of Mama's favorite chairs that used to be in my great-grandfather's house. That's on the same 1.5 acre property. And the chair just got moved to Christine's house. And so I walked in, and this fucking chair is rocking back and forth. So my dumb ass, I'm just like, okay, fuck it. And I just sprint past the fucking chair. And I'm just like now I see why white people are always the dumbasses that get murdered in scary movies. Because we do shit like this, right? So I run in there, grab my BB gun, and then I fucking take off running. I'm just like, And like, dude, I shit you not, I swear to anything, like, dude, that has been the most trippy thing that I've witnessed. Like, I've never seen
Makes your stomach
like
drop.
things, or like I've never seen apparitions, orbs, this, that, the other, but like I have seen physically things do things that they're physically impossible to just do by themselves. And it's just like, what the fuck? And so, like, I believe that there's something, but it's just like I just don't know what to. I don't know what to call it. Like, it's like I just like I don't know what I believe ghosts are. I don't know if I believe that they are actually people, or if they're some sort of energy force, or what. But dude, I legit believe that there's something, like there has to be. I mean, there's so much shit that goes on that's unexplained, that, you know, and there's so many people who swear by that they've actually like seen things, and not just people who are just like, you know, I'm some conspiracy nut job guy, just people who are just like, nah, bro, like it was fucking weird. Like I don't even want to admit it because I feel like a fool by admitting it, but like I legit saw something. And so I don't know, man. I think they're real, but that's just like that's just one of my experiences, man. I can't explain it in any other way than that it was a ghost. Like there's no way that I can think to explain it.
It's just crazy. What you got yours ready?
Yeah, mine was pretty much just the house we grew up in from like elementary school age to I think like sophomore year of high school. It was kind of like exactly what you said. Like there are just sometimes when you feel something there, and you have no idea what it is, but you're terrified for some reason. The hairs on the back of your neck are standing up. You're getting goosebumps, and you're just like, I'm just chilling in the fucking living room. What the fuck? And like, it's like you can feel it behind you. Like you feel something, like something's paying attention to you. I would always get that feeling in random places throughout the house. And, you know, it never was like one specific room or this thing right here. It was just, you live in your life in the house and like, feel it in the bathroom. You'll feel it in the game room. You'll feel it in your bedroom. You'll feel it in the living room, kitchen. Oh my God. The kitchen gave me such goosebumps too.
I was like, I know that you've had like 1,000,001. Like,
Oh man.
dude, especially with shit like, I don't know if your dad really did.
Oh, so I'll
Like-
let her finish her thing. We'll go on to me.
And there were times growing up, like I would hear tapping on the window on my bedroom at night. And I told my parents about it. And they're like, it's just birds on your window. I was like, there's a bird on my window? Like, that doesn't even make sense. I didn't have like enough of a windowsill for any kind of bird situation to be happening. It was just like a window on a wall, nothing else. So they put a camera up. And I kept asking them, like, what'd you catch on the camera? What'd you catch on the camera? And they finally looked at it. And after that, their whole demeanor changed. They went from, like, really trying to convince me it was a bird, it was a bird, don't worry about it. Like, cut off the story. They don't want to talk about it anymore. So that kind of freaked me out for a long time. I'm like, dude, is it... Because I feel like even if it were, like, the stupid neighborhood boys coming to tap on my window at night, they would tell me. Or they would, like, make a bigger deal about it. But it was never brought up again. I'm kind of scared to bring it up to them today. And, so, you know, the whole time, you're just constantly feeling that presence. You're terrified at night. Like, I slept on my I slept on my parents' bedroom floor until I was, like, almost in 8th grade. Because they didn't want me sleeping in their bed because I'm a fucking 8th grader. So me and my brother would, like, crawl in there at night after they've gone to bed and, like, just sleep on their floor because that was more comforting than sleeping in our own bedroom by ourselves. So where it all kind of came to a head was, like, a year before we moved out. It's probably in 8th grade again. And I was laying in bed and is this was the first time I experienced sleep paralysis. And at the time, you don't know what that is. All you know is you wake up, you know, like just sitting there looking around for a second, and then you're trying to roll over, and you realize I'm not rolling over. And then you try to do anything, you can't move your toes, your arms, your limbs, you're just laying there in bed. And then I start like trying to mumble to myself, and I can't do anything, and I just start trying to scream, and you're just like, there's nothing coming out.
Bruh.
And then I get goosebumps again. I feel it again. And so I don't remember turning over, but I remember my vision going from like this to looking behind me, and there's an old man smiling at me, cuddling me.
What the fuck?
I remember again staring at him while he's smiling at me, trying to scream, but I can't make a sound. And then I wake up. And then that was the end of it. I went and slept on my parents' bedroom floor again. Like, after that, I don't remember anything else happening.
Dude, fuck that.
I hate
I could tell.
Yeah, damn.
Dude, that's fucking crazy. I had no clue.
Yeah.
I've never talked about it in detail. I've told him about it.
Yeah.
It's fucking insane.
It makes my insides twist.
I could tell. You got, like, your voice cracked for a second, and I was like, oh shit.
You can't, when this dude's just staring at you, unblinking, and big fucking grin, what are you supposed to do?
Hey,
You're done. And you're just supposed to wake up normal after that and just, okay, pretend that didn't happen. I can't pretend that didn't happen. I think about that every day.
It's fucking crazy. It's fucking insane. See, I've never had any kind of experiences like that. Like, all of my experiences have always been in daytime. Broad ass daylight,
When
like
you're
fucking...
in a bed, you're in a house full of 5 fucking people growing up at night, like, even during daytime, you feel so helpless. Your parents don't believe you, they don't want to talk about it. I think that's why I started watching ghost shows and why I got so fascinated in that shit, because I found comfort. Like, this person's
like, I'm
coming
not
up
fucking
with some
crazy.
kind of
Like,
explanation. Like just some kind of. I need a version of a math equation. Just make some kind of sense out of this. I'll feel better, because just random chaos is horrifying.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, anything can happen. You never know what it's just gonna do it.
It was like, thanks.
Damn, shit's crazy.
Yeah, see, I've never had any kind of, like, every experience that I've had has been with, like, it seemed like it was someone I knew personally, or that that, like, it felt, nothing
Not
ever,
scary.
yeah, it just felt weird, and, like, I was scared because I was young and I didn't comprehend anything, and so everything that isn't, like, normal or anything, like, you instantly meet it with fear. And so it's like, a lot of times it was more confusion in no understanding of anything, and maybe I'm just fucking crazy, right? Maybe I didn't see that shit that way. Maybe I just made that shit up in my head, and maybe I just felt that way about that room because I saw Mama in there. Maybe that's what that was. Maybe I'm fucking nuts. It's possible, but it's also possible that I'm not. It's also possible that it's real.
So it's a lot of maybes.
Yeah, like, and so, like, there's too much, like, things like Ghost Hunters and stuff, like this show Ghost Hunters and stuff, like, really piss me off, because a lot of it, it's just like,
Yeah.
you're really stretching it, bro. Like, that's bullshit, and so it delegitimizes things that are real. And so, because you've seen so much fake shit in all of these reality TV shows, like, you just instantly write off everything as a fake. Yeah. And then it's like, when you talk to people who have, like, legitimately experienced, again, it goes back to what I was saying earlier. You can tell when people are making shit up, and when people, like, legit believe it and think it's reality. It
really is like that, because, like, whenever you talk about how, like, you get all these things and it makes it seem like it's all fake now, because it gets legitimized or delegitimized or whatever, because of all the tools that they use, the drama that they you're just like, well, that's just the frame rate. That's just that's them moving it but editing it. And at that point, it's like now it could be the most realistic video there is of something like that. But now we've got all this other stuff in the background. That's fake now.
Yep. It's like, and it honestly is hard to believe because you have movies like Paranormal Activity and stuff like that. That's just like, it's a film that was made in Hollywood, that CGI and all kind of other shit was made. And so it's like, well, yeah, if someone can make this, someone can make a fake, especially a highly grainy fake, and so it's like, then you try to, and I think because people don't want to respond with fear, they try to respond with logic and try to, make shit up to be like, dude, that was the swamp gas of Venus erupting and refracting off of the shine. It's like
literally how we watch Nuke's Top 5. We put it on, we love it, we adore it, but every time we watch it, I'm constantly talking shit about every single video.
Yeah.
I do not want to take it seriously. I don't want to just believe it.
Well, that's the other thing. Like, didn't you have like a second experience, but it was better? Like it was with me. We were sleeping in the couch.
Yeah, when we had the flu.
Yeah.
We were sick. We were dog fucking sick, dude. We were sleeping. This is when we lived with Isaiah's mom, so we were sleeping on the couch in her living room.
Mm-hmm.
And I wake up like at 3 a.m. a lot. This is like around that time. I'm not saying spooky 3 a.m. this and that. I'm just saying I woke up at 3 a.m. and Isaiah is sleeping on the other end of the couch, and behind him I see a shadow. The couch isn't up against the wall. There's a walkway behind it somewhere. I just see a shadow move from behind him, and like it was kind of small, and it seemed like it was hunched over, and it just went in behind the chairs where the dining room was, and then I didn't see it after that. And the whole time I'm watching it, I'm not scared at all. I've been scared of stupid shit in the dark, and I hate the dark. But I was not scared. I was very comforted in it. Like, literally, I don't know if maybe I was just trying to make this up in my mind. I was like, that's Isaiah's dad looking out for us.
Yeah, and I was going to say, Martin, that's the type of person that Martin was. Like, he was always... Yeah, he was always accepting of everybody for anything. Like, he didn't care. Even when that kid slashed all the tires and shit in the neighborhood, like, he wasn't even...
Yeah.
Like,
he wasn't even mad.
He's always been that type. And like, yeah, it's fucking...
That's just where my mind went. So, and I was like, hunched over. I know you have problems. So I was like, I was smiling when I lay back down. I said aloud, thank you for watching over him.
Did you ever get to like really meet him or spend much time with him?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
No. So.
Yeah, that's for real. That's the type of person he was, and like
I just felt like he was looking out for Isaiah because he was standing right where Isaiah was sleeping and dog sick on the couch. So.
Yeah,
it was comforting. It wasn't scary. I wasn't nervous. I fell right back asleep after that. I had no problem sleeping.
Yeah, like for me, I feel like ghosts are real, and I feel like it's just it's crazy because like I don't have one solid experience with them or anything like that. It's always just been like multiple little occurrences. It's a lot of like little things here and there.
Like the lights,
things moving, hearing things, seeing things. It's always little, and for me, I'm never like there's like the way that I view ghosts is like ghost people that have passed away, whether they're from a different time area or have passed away or whatever, right? But then there's what people say demons are. Those are the scary shit. That shit, I'm not so sure of. That's where I'm like, I don't know about that. Because that starts dipping your toes in religious things.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I'm like, but ghosts, I feel like that could be your energy being released or your energy still being stuck here or part of you still being here because you moved on, but maybe that part of you still wants to be here. So you've never, like, that's why I think ghosts are real for sure. And I've seen things and heard things and all that shit. So, like, one of the things was, like, I know that in the house when my dad was still around, there's a couple of times where shit just gets moved, misplaced, where I know I placed it here and it's gone. and I can't find it. And then, like an hour later, it's right there where I left it. And I know that it could just be me being crazy, but I know it isn't, because like I'll look at the space,
Yeah.
I'll set it down here, and I'm like, I know where I set it down, and I look exactly at that same spot and be like, it's not there.
Oddly enough, that was something ghost shows would talk about growing up. Like it's like one of their favorite practical pranks to pull on people, like taking their shit for hours at a time.
Just yeet.
And so like I'll be like, what the fuck? And I'll be looking around, going the whole room around, and looking living room, kitchen,
Looking under the moldy apple.
Yeah, looking at the moldy apple, coming back to the room, and then just looking at that same exact spot after an hour of looking at it, and be like, what the fuck? And pick it right back up, and it's like, I know that was the first place that I looked. I looked at that spot 3 other times after that first time.
Going, maybe I didn't see it.
Yeah, and it was like, how did I miss it? And it's just that. And like, I know that I didn't miss it. Because there's been plenty of times where it was like a bare desk. And I know it was the only thing there. And it's still bare. And then when I come back, it's right there. In the middle of nothing. And it's like, what the fuck? And then there's times where, the other times where things get thrown around. And that's where it gets a little, But for me, there was one time I was in the room with Sir Charles. We were hanging out, playing games on the computer and stuff like that. It never scares me. I'm never scared of anything like that. And like, I know probably I should have been more scared about this one, because when things gets thrown around, you don't know what's going to happen. You never know. A knife can be thrown at you. But for some reason, like, I'm never fucking scared of things like that. Especially when it comes to ghosts. Like, I'm sure if it ever comes down to like, oh, there's a demon here, maybe I will be scared. But if it's just like me thinking it's the ghost, I'm never uncomfortable, never really get the heebie-jeebies or anything like that. But when I was sitting down, my wallet literally picked up, like it went up, and I'm sitting there like staring at the screen out of the corner of my eye. I'm seeing this shit, and then he goes, and it goes right across the room. And like I turn, and as I'm turning, Charles is on my left side, sitting on the bed, and like he's just wide-eyed, staring at the spot that it got thrown from. And I was like, "Did you see that?"
Always in these stories. What's going on?
Hey, I've known him since kindergarten, so like we've always hanged out a lot.
This dude has a lot of fishing string and a lot of construction paper. All right.
Yeah. So
He made a fake alien, like fucking. Maybe Sir Charles's thing is like this whole time he's been running a YouTube and it's just been pranking you.
He's been
But-
pranking me the entire time.
Yeah.
Oh no. But dude, like that one tripped me up because I know I saw it go up and then across the room. And then to validate that, when I turned and I was like, what the fuck? I looked at Sir Charles and he's just staring at it wide-eyed, like pale as can be. And he's just like, I just saw that go up in the air and then across the room. Like, he was terrified. And like, all I could think of was just fucking get mad. I was sitting there like, no!
Why? I need
Like,
that.
Yeah, because the first thing I started saying, I was just like, I'm not talking to you, Mr. Charles. And I was like, you can throw anything you want in this house outside of this fucking room. I was like, I don't give a shit what the fuck it is. I don't give a shit if you bother. I don't care. But all this shit in this room, you're not throwing. I was mad. And like,
Ghost is like, this dude gonna pull out a fucking
Why
demon
did
blade.
Boundaries.
Yeah.
In the bathroom is fine.
dude, and that's the craisiest thing.
Kitchen with all the swords.
It did happen multiple times afterwards. Never in that room. It happened in the bathroom. It happened in the living room. It happened in front of my mom, and my mom was like, I just put it there wrong. And I was like, no! It got through!
That's my fault. That's my bad.
And I was, like, Like
He's right. I shouldn't have put that there.
Yeah,
I mean,
soon
it fell.
yeah, soon after, like you know how like in the bathroom in my mom's house, there was this cabinet over the toilet, and at the very top, she used to put like this half fish bowl with like all these rocks and shit. And plenty of times that's just been thrown across, landed all over the fucking bathtub and shit. And I'm
Not
like,
break?
wow, not like it slid off or anything like that. Not like I hit the thing because it did shake. Because I know, like if I
the
hit
rocks from the inside of the bowl?
yeah,
probably?
just the rocks. The bowl wouldn't come down.
Like it was like,
Yeah, the rocks go whoop. And so like, there was a lot of times where that just happened, and I'm like, okay. Now I gotta pick this shit up.
Thanks.
Yeah, and then like, there's even things that are happening like now, like, never fucking scares me, and I know like I tell my boss and I tell like my friend or coworkers and stuff like that, and they get freaked out and they're like, why aren't you freaked? I'm like,
Yeah, it's like, I shit you not. I was sitting on the couch here one day and that fucking door closed. It was wide ass open all day long. All day long. It was a wide ass open.
listen, they like
And
their
then-
privacy.
Dunk. And I'm like, what the fuck?
Maybe Mama's coming to play some pranks on you.
I guess, man.
Either that or
They-
something.
What does that think you say? Go to Fox.
Yeah.
Dude, it's fucking. I've seen some fucking weird shit that doesn't make any sense. But, like, I don't know, man.
Dude, like the most recent things have been happening at my job. And Coco's dad, he'll talk about it and he'll tell you that, you know, there's something in the building. Like, he doesn't know what it is, but there's been times where
And my dad's a big, like, he's a solid guy. Like,
he'll go
he's there.
Yeah,
He's not.
You can ask him about it, and he's like, there is something there. There's a ghost child or something there. And like,
That's him being sarcastic. So it's a ghost child.
Look, it could be that, but like, he's got a whole story about it.
And he hasn't told me.
You can ask him next time.
My dad doesn't love me.
But yeah, man, what's it like? One time, so like the first things that's happened there. So like, there's times where like I go in early, like I go in when it's dark and the lights are all off. And to be honest with you, a lot of the times I don't ever turn on the lights because I just like the darkness. And so like,
born in the darkness.
I'm sure you've seen like my Snapchats where I send you, and like the aisles are pitch black.
Mm-hmm.
And like, this is a warehouse, so like there's a ton of aisles and they go really far back, and the only lights that are on are the front row. So everything back there are just dark as shit. And there's been a few times where like I'll be walking through, I'll walk in, I won't clock in, and I'll just like, I gotta go take a shit, and so I'll go straight to the restroom. And as I'm walking, like I don't turn on any lights, I don't care. I'll walk down one of the aisles with it dark. I don't like. I have to walk down the aisle when it's dark to go to the restroom. And there's been plenty of times where like I walk down and I see movement, and like every time I'm like, the fuck was that? And like, I don't know. Whatever.
You're never scared of it?
I've never
Or you're
been
just
scared.
like, fuck you. Keep going.
Maybe it's just a group of meth heads that have been staying in the building this whole time, and they're just like, "Oh fuck, that guy's back! Quick, get out!"
It's the shitter.
That's why.
It's the shit slinging slasher.
Like, I feel like I'd be a good ghost hunter, but like I don't want to get involved in anything like that because I know that, you know, if the other side of the ghost things where it gets actually scary, demonic presences and stuff like that,
Not to
if
mention
those
if
are
they follow
real,
you, I don't want
Exactly.
anyone in this house.
exactly, if they follow you like that, that's why I don't want to do it, because I know that I would be the one that's ballsy enough to just go into the room that I just saw a head poke out from. And it never bothers me. Like, it's weird because like that was the first instance when I had to go to the restroom and I saw movement, and it happened like 2 or 3 times, and then it kind of stopped, and I was like, whatever. And then we had a power outage, and in that power outage, we were still kind of working. Like, they were starting to send people home, but like I was still part of the receiving team at that time, so like there were still trucks, and I was like, I'm just gonna stay. Like, I'm not just gonna go home. Like, you guys are just gonna make me do more work. Like, you're gonna ignore all these trucks. No, I'm just gonna do my thing, pick up the thing, turn on the flashlight on the forklift, put it down the aisle. I can't receive any of it in the system or even touch it because it's dark, but screw it, I'm doing it. And so I'm going down the thing, and I think, what was it? It was the last truck, it was the last pallet, and I'm taking it down the aisle. I make it halfway there, and the forklift died on me. And I was like, oh, motherfucker, I ran out of propane. And it did run out of propane. But it was oddly convenient.
Mm-hmm.
And so when it died, I was like, oh, fuck. And the first thing I was like, I'm gonna have to take shit. So I turned off the light. And the second I turned off the light, I hear my name being called. And I was like, what the fuck? Everybody's already like left. The only people that are left are my 3 bosses at that time. And I was like, there's no way that was them, because I know their voice. And the craziest part to me was I distinctly recognized this voice. This voice was the other coworker that I had that recently had passed away. Yeah. It was Peyton.
You never told me it was Peyton.
No shit.
Dude. Clear as fucking day I heard his
You never
voice.
told me it was him.
Dude, it was...
Now I can hear it in my head.
And so, like, I knew who it was, and I was just like...
I have dreams
was
about him all
like-
the time. For someone who I haven't talked to him since high school. Like, we graduated sitting right next to each other, but I have dreams about him hanging out with us all the time.
It would have been a cool dude to hang out with.
He would have fit in so well.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
But-
we would have had a blast.
Yeah. Anyways, I heard that, and I was sitting there kind of stunned, and I was like, and again, this is why I say, like, it doesn't bother me, because immediately afterwards, out loud, I go, Peyton? Like, what?
Dude, just like, bitch, you did.
You know,
Shut up.
his ghost is laughing his ass off after you say it.
More than likely. I was like, what the fuck? And so I was like, hello? And I'm still like, hello? And at this point, our
You're
other
convinced he's
coworker,
not
the
dead.
only other coworker that stayed with him besides management, Ruben, he's walking by and he's like, hello? And I was like, what's up? And he's just like, he's just straight up like, are you okay? And I was like,
Yeah.
yeah,
You didn't
I'm
tell
fine. And no, I told him because I was like, I thought I heard something. You weren't here? And he's like, no. And I was like, I know what I heard. and he is the one that for sure gets scared as shit when it comes to ghosts. Like, first thing in the morning, if it's dark, the first thing he does, even before he clocks in, is turn on all the lights. Petrified of things like that. Oh, and so like he was like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, what were you doing? And he was just like, I was over there like moving some things because he's got the turret lift, and the turret lift like just turns on, like it's like a lighthouse basically when it turns on all the lights. And so he was doing his thing over there, and then he was like, I was just parking and finishing, or I was just finished, and I was parking and come to check on you because they were asking me to check on you. And I was like, dude, I swear to God, I heard Peyton's voice. And he was like, no, I'm not doing it. And I was just like,
That's a funny little, like, if y'all could reenact that, but hello.
Hello, couple soul.
and so like, you know, he asked
Bro,
me
just
about
like,
it.
nope.
I'm out.
I've seen these movies. I know how this works.
There's been plenty of times where like, and it's still like in that same building, like there's been plenty, like other times where there's lights that gone out and stuff like that, and I'll be going down and like I'll hear someone in, like, you can hear rustling and stuff like that and things moving around, and you can hear like the boxes shifting and stuff like that, and you hear giggling, like someone giggling, and it's so weird.
That's Coco. She doesn't actually work for OGD. She actually just follows you around. And
They hired me as their warehouse midget. I just go in and start and I like push the box over.
The one that was really like, what the fuck was that? Was I was pulling up. Again, it's in the morning. It's dark like this out. It's really pitch black dark, and I pull around the warehouse, and my manager's already in there. She's got a truck, and so I'm pulling up, and I notice that she's not in the truck. So I'm like, okay, well, she's already inside the building. I can just walk in. But as I'm seeing the truck, it's oddly shaped at the front of it, and so I focus my eyes towards it, and I saw like a little person, child, something.
oh, okay. I was gonna say you got to be more specific here.
Yeah, like poking forward from like behind the truck, and so I was like, "What the fuck?" And like as I noticed it, it like slowly goes back, and I was like, "That's weird," because I have a good visual of the front. So like it was so oddly weird because like it was supposed to be like it to me it felt like it was supposed to be a flat wall, someone poking around it and then going back behind it. But it was 3-dimensional because it's a truck and I'm going around the truck and I see this and I'm like, wait a minute, what? Wait, what? And so like I quickly make my turn and I don't even fully park. I just make my turn, hit my emergency brakes, get out the car, and I'm like looking around her truck, trying to figure out what the hell was that, and nothing. Like I'm looking around the entire area, nothing. And I'm like, what the fuck was that?
Boy, like Skrillex first of the year. Call 911 now.
Dude, that one got me tripped up a little bit.
No, but did you tell them about one with cemetery and also Sir Charles again?
Oh my god!
I'm gonna top off my water, but holy fuck.
I cannot forget.
This is the one I was wanting you to tell so bad.
I completely forgot about
How
it.
could you? You say sociopath.
It's just because I've always been thinking about it, being like,
You're making me cry.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
You didn't tell me that was Peyton's voice.
Dude, it was straight up his voice.
He was fucking
The more,
with you.
dude, the more that I think about it,
know his
the
ass
more
is
that I
laughing
thought about it, dude. And that's why now, whenever because like now, the only people that go into the warehouse that early and that like dark, it's always me, my manager, and then my coworker, the one that came to check on me. And yeah, and
I really hope that's how his actual voice sounds.
Yeah, he's
Hello? ¿Qué pasó, mi primo?
and so there's been a couple of times where like we hear weird noises, we see things in the warehouse when it's dark and stuff like that. And like of course my coworker always freaks out about it, but like every time I'm like, Peyton. And it's now a running joke for me. Because like anytime I hear something, I always just say it out loud. Is that you, Peyton?
Yeah.
You better not let John find you here saying that.
Oh, it is what it is. I'm sure he'll be fine with it.
Oh man.
But
this one.
So this one I forgot about. I don't know why I forgot.
That's how many fucking ghosts you done seen. You forgot about all the ghosts you done seen.
This one petrified us. Dude, this one. I really don't understand why I forgot it.
I also
It
thought
might
of
just
another
be-
one while we're talking about Sir Charles. But I want you to tell us first.
So he hangs out with me, right, when I lived at my mom's house, and to go to it, like I have to pick him up. He's never been a person to drive or anything like that.
Oh, and I thought of another one. God, your life is riddled with this shit. Oh, fuck. I'm gonna write this down before I forget.
Fuck yeah.
So
Don't give me your phone. Mine's dead.
right down on the thing.
Okay.
He's using his phone for Pornhub.
Oh, God, I'm crying.
Pornhub?
Yeah,
They're amazing people.
There's so much fornication. How can you just do that 75 times in one day?
You know, when there was a blizzard, they bought and labeled their own truck to push the snow out of the street. Anyways. Oh man. But I don't think that's a ghost.
I know. The other one's may not be a ghost either, but it's something that pertains probably better back to the alien.
It could be.
So
Okay, so this one, maybe it's just because like it was something that happened and I pushed it back or something. I don't fucking know. But he's not much of a driver, so I have to go pick him up. And there's multiple ways to get to his house. You can go on one big road, you can go take a little bit of a back road, or you can go on the highway. And then there's that one road. The one road that I would always take, it's basically behind a cemetery.
Mm-hmm.
just like a rickety chain link fence separating the two.
It's the one where my dad got buried in.
There's no curb to it. Like it just goes pavement to grass.
Yeah, you know how like in the front of it,
they got the fences.
They've got a big fence, all that stuff, and then there's got a 4-lane, 2-lane on each side, and it's a big road that's like 55 plus.
Yeah.
You got one, right? Well, behind it, there's this like rickety ass road that I always took that road, and I always took that road to get to him. It was the easiest for me. It was like I hit to get there. It was take a back road, get to the stop sign, and at the stop sign, that's where you determine one of like 5 ways to get to his house. And that road was always like the middle ground.
Mm-hmm.
And the other ones, it was like you'd have to take a right and go a little bit further out, or a left and go further out, and all that, right? Or make too many turns to get into it. So it was just one left turn, one right turn, straight to his house. And so I was like, that's the easiest, it's the middle ground. I'm always taking that one.
But after this happened, you never took it again.
Oh, I still took it.
Oh yeah. I got nervous every time.
I still took it. I don't care. It did freak me out. But so I don't know why I was picking him up. I don't remember. It might have just been to hang out, but it was the middle of the night. It was like 11:30, maybe 12 o'clock. And so I get to his house, I pick him up, and I just make a U-turn and I go back that same road. And this is the time I had the truck. And so I'm driving down the road and I'm getting to the point, the part where the cemetery starts. There's no lights on this road. There's literally no lights. There's houses on the other side, and there's houses before the cemetery, but there's not a single street light. So it's pitch black, and all you can see is through your headlights. And so I'm going down it, and as we make the cross, as we cross it, the headlights flash. It was weird. Like I was freaking out. I was like, "What the fuck was that?" Like the headlights just dimmed out and all that, and I was like, "Oh." And I was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna tell my dad about that tomorrow morning. That way he can check the battery and so on and so forth. I'm just thinking that in my head, and then as I look back up, there's someone on the fucking road. And what the fuck was it? Like I slam onto the brakes, and I'm like, oh fuck, and you push your flinch, and so like you kind of close your eyes, and you're like, what the fuck? And so like I slam onto the brakes, stopped, and when we look around, nothing. We're like, what the fuck? And so we didn't hit anything. And we're like, okay, so we move forward some, and that's when the lights start freaking out. The speedometer's going fucking crazy, and the truck shut off. And like it was one little detail that I've never told. It wasn't as if like it just shut off, or like the key went backwards. Because when I went to go turn it back on, I tried to turn it back, and I was like, it's already back. And so like I tried to turn it back on.
The truck.
Yeah, that was something that I remember that.
What
Like,
the
not
fuck?
I remember now. I knew that
Now
I
you're
had.
thinking
I just
about
never.
it. You're reliving it.
I never like thought of it as a big deal for
Mhm.
some reason. And so like I try to turn it back on and it won't turn on. I'm like, what the fuck's going on? So Charles sitting there like, what's going on? Like we're both freaking out and we're like, what the fuck? And so obviously we're like, it's a fucking cemetery. We need to like get the fuck out of here. And so I turn it on and it finally turns on, like the lights flicker back on. We start making our way forward and the lights start flickering in and out and they shut off. The truck's not off or anything like that. And then like I'm like freaking out. I'm like, whoa, what the fuck? And I'm just trying to like speed up some more. And as I'm speeding up, like I look at the mirror and there's this fucking lady in the backseat of the truck.
No, man.
And-
No, fuck that.
Dude.
No.
I don't know what the fuck happened there, but there's someone there. And so I freak out, I slam on the brakes, and I turn around and nothing. And Charles obviously was like, what the fuck just happened? What are you doing? And I'm like, oh, we need to get out.
Just fucking go.
And
go,
so, like,
go.
We fucking book it out of there. And I mean, we got out of there just fine, but like, it was terrifying.
Bro, fuck
Like-
that. No. Mm-mm.
And like, I think it was more terrifying because we connected it with the cemetery and shit like that. And I was more terrified that I ran someone over though. But he came over. Like now he's got a Jeep. He's got a truck car. He's more comfortable with coming to my mom's house. So he drives over to my mom's house, and he always parks under that one street light, right?
Mhm.
And so he would park there. And I remember that I came out, and I think I was just like gonna help him out or something.
It was like dark.
It was dark. It was the sun wasn't setting. It was already
Oh,
dark.
sorry.
Yeah, and so we stepped out or something, and we grabbed his shit, and we were back out for some reason. I think we were going back out to grab some more things, and above the Jeep, the light, I think it flickered, and then the Jeep moved, and we were like, "What the hell?" And so we're kind of looking under it. I mean, it's tall. So like you can see under a Jeep and see if there's legs or something or someone behind it fairly easily. And so we're looking under it and nothing. And like we look back up, and as we're like looking back up, there's something in his Jeep. In the Jeep, scrummaging around, and we're like just staring at it like, what is that? And I'm like looking at him like, did you lock the Jeep or something? And like, I know, I'm pretty positive that he had locked it before, because I think he locked it. We walked inside, and then he goes, "Oh hey, I forgot this." I think it was a tool that I wanted him to bring, and so he was like, "We should go ahead and get it because it's a tool. We don't want to leave it in the car."
Yeah.
So we walked back out, and I was like, that's when we saw all this shit, and we were like, I don't remember what we did. I don't know. We didn't walk up to it. That's for damn sure. We were like, but I think.
I just remember you coming back inside, and you're like, "Well, there's a demon in Chance's Jeep."
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
huh?
Yeah, I think we just looked at each other, and we saw that. I turned to him, and I turned back. It was still moving, and I know.
I thought you said the light flickered and
The
it
light-
disappeared.
It might have. All I remember for sure is that, and I know it's fucked up, I looked at him again and I go, "Good luck with that." And I walked inside. I'm like, "You can deal with it."
He's just like, you know what? That's your problem. I'm not. No, I've seen the Da Vinci Code. Like, no.
I'm not that curious, Scooby Doo.
He's like, I've seen what happens in The Mummy when they're like, oh, let me go in here where I'm not supposed to go. And then, ta-da, now all of a sudden, no one has toilet paper.
The butt does not want to be
Exactly.
touched.
Yeah. So that one, it was a little bit of a small one. It was
Fluke, but
it was a
you
little
knew
fluke.
when to
I
be
was
like, I'm
nah,
out.
I'm like, yeah, I wasn't gonna deal with that. I was like, it could have been a raccoon too, because that's the other thing that I was thinking. I was like, if it's like an animal, I'm not getting rabies for this shit. You can deal with that. I was like, nah, ain't having it. Like, that's one of my biggest fears is, and it's not so much like that I contract rabies, it's the fact that the only way to tell that an animal has rabies is by cutting its head off and doing an autopsy on its brain. And that's like really sad for me to think that this animal just accidentally scratched me and now you have to kill it to know whether I'm going to get shots or not. And over 90% of the chance is not going to give me rabies.
Sounds like their problem.
Yeah, I know, but shit sucks.
Yeah.
But whatever. The other one, this one is probably not a ghost story. This is where we can lead on to other things.
Creature story.
This is cryptids.
Cryptids.
Yes.
Skinwalker?
Cryptids.
Is
Cryptids
that
are
what you happened to?
no. Cryptids are just creatures that are unknown. Here, I'll show you the definition.
Yeah, Skinwalker is kind of a cryptid.
Yes.
El chupacabra.
But
Or la chupacabra because it comes ends in
so
an A.
an animal that has been claimed to exist but never proven to exist.
Oh, so fucking Bigfoot.
Bigfoot,
Yeah.
Skinwalkers, Loch Ness Monster,
El
Chupacabra.
tecuache.
Chupacabra, Taquaches. So, as I'm trying to it's all just kind of, this one is fuzzy.
Here's our channel sponsor, Windex. That way, so things can't be so fuzzy. You can
Alright,
clean
so
them
I'd
up.
like to notify everybody about our channel sponsor. He's a pretty cool dude. He is Shiny Charizard. You know, if you ever see him in the middle of the day, he's badass, but most of the time you can't see him at night. Unless you see its tail. Then you can see the flame.
Yeah.
Pretty cool dude.
But you won't see him much at night. Well, actually, you might.
Nerdy, it's cute.
Anyways, so off to this one. This one, I'm sure I have more than just this one too. But so, my mom used to work for a baseball player, famous baseball player. Worked for a big team and all that.
Work for Pablo Escobar.
Pablo Escobar. We'll name him Pablo.
El Patron.
El Patron. That's a good one. We'll name him El Patron. El Patron was a really decent baseball player.
He was great at
Really
selling
decent.
cocaine. So
Great at snorting cocaine and doing drugs. But that's besides the point.
JK, LOL.
Yeah. Had an amazing story on the Me Too movement. How many baseball players are on that movement?
3.7.
It's like one.
Wait, what do you mean
Obviously.
3.7?
Anyways, I mean, the guy was cool. It wasn't that big of a deal. It was this whole drama thing that happened with him that just became really shitty. But that's besides the point. He had hired my uncle and aunt to stay on his ranch to maintain it, feed deer, all that stuff. And my uncle and aunt were going to Mexico for a vacation. And so, my uncle needed someone to watch over it. And I think, the secondary person had quit or didn't want to be there no more or something like that. And so he had called me and suggested that maybe I should be able to do it, because I used to help him out a lot. And so he called me, or he told my mom, and my mom even backed me up. And it was easy money.
Yeah.
Easy money.
Yeah.
I made I think like $4,000 in like 2 weeks.
Jesus.
Cash money or something like that.
Yo, I saw it was 400, bro.
No, it wasn't.
Damn.
It was
He's still
thousands.
looking?
I know,
I
right?
do.
And all I did was stay there the night, made sure the doors were unlocked for construction, and then made sure the deers were still there and fed. That's all I did. So it was easy time. I mowed the lawn and I maintained things there and cleaned up and dedusted, all that shit. But that was just busy work. Things that I thought would be helpful. But I get there and I like, again, I'm not very scared of the outside. I'm not very scared of like ghosts or anything like that.
Dark.
And not really the dark either.
Yeah.
And so
Psychopath. Dark's terrifying.
it would be. I don't know why I needed to do it, but like I'm in the main house, and he told me that I can sleep in the main house. And so I was like, whatever, I'll sleep there. And I slept on the couch in the main house, even though he was just like, go upstairs and sleep in the bed and all that. I was more comfortable on the couch and all that. And now, granted, it was a creepy ass house. Big windows,
Especially by yourself.
very open. Can't hear nothing.
You're there by yourself?
I'm completely by myself. Like
Nothing
4
but you and the
hours
deer.
away from like
How long were
my
you staying?
house.
This was 2 weeks you stayed up
2
there?
weeks, yeah. And and then like they understood that I worked, so like I would work on Saturday and Sunday, so like I'd go home Friday night, get there, sleep, go to work, come back Monday morning. And the other was like, I think it was like 3 hours away from my mom's house, an hour away from the nearest like store or any kind of city. And so it was far. And I was there completely by myself. It was an open field, big windows throughout the entire house. It was all locked, so like it was constantly creaking.
So pretty.
It was pretty, but it was constantly creaking at night. Like I could understand why I would like anybody would be scared there, because it was like so open. There was dead silence. Like in the dark, at night, you can hear nothing.
Day in and day out, dude, I would lose my fucking mind.
Like in the daylight, it was awesome. Like I had a blast. The guy had a waterfall in the woods that he had. It was awesome. Like I had an adventure. Like I got to see deers in the forest roam up, stare at me, and I was just sitting there like, hi. And
Hello,
like,
friend.
I really wanted to go up to it, and those deers would let you, but he had them for hunt, so like I couldn't go near them. He wanted them to run and stuff like that. And so like if they saw me, I had to make noises to make them run from me. It sucked, but yeah, that's his shit. That was his deer. He bought it. He bought them. He raised them. So it is what it is. They were all fenced off. So like the whole land was massive land. And all that. Really cool. But it was one night, and we had these. It was electric. He had electric ATVs. I don't know exactly. They're really fast, really cool, and in way the fuck further away, like I'm completely on the other side of that land, was my uncle's little mobile home that they had got him. It wasn't like a RV. It was like those big mobile homes that you put on a 18-wheeler and then drop them down and all that. And it was really big. It was like 2 of them. And my uncle was like, you can stay there, but then they were like, you can stay at the other house. I'd rather stay at the other house. It was nicer. Yeah, I like the bougie life. But yeah, I mean, even though I didn't really sleep in the bed, I just slept on the couch.
I like to be bougie, slightly.
Yeah,
I'm
they had
bougie but
internet.
modest.
Yeah, the thing about it is that they had internet on the house, and so like they were like,
Now
I don't
the
care
truth.
Sounds like Luigi.
Waluigi. And so like I mean, I set up my whole like PlayStation setup with computer on their dining table and everything. And what else was it? So it was in the middle of the night, and I just don't remember what it was. I think I had forgotten to close something and make sure that something else was there and all that. And there was a lot of donkeys there. They were really fucking friendly donkeys.
The donkeys.
Donkeys are the most friendliest animal ever.
Oh, really?
Like
So
really?
about something.
He got no fuck about it.
You're the one that's telling us they're awfully friendly.
Hey, look, all I know is I saw it. It walked up to me. I scratched the ear, and it was
then
like,
it bent you over.
It didn't bend me over, but it followed me, and it was like, "Hey, you're my friend now." And it would push its head under my arm, and I'm like, "You motherfucker."
That's exactly what Bruce does. He's just like,
Yeah. So like, I mean, it was cool. Those donkeys were cool. Anyways, hey, look.
That's what I remember from the story.
They were cool.
That's where this all was going. Just the donkeys.
Just talking about how you're into bestiality. All right.
Hey, look, to each their own. Not me. You might be, but I'm good.
Happy is happy.
So, again, I think it was like I forgot to close and lock up this thing. And I was freaking out because I was like, they were telling me like the deer could get out. Because like the gate that was open, I had to close it late because of construction. It was basically once the sun dropped was when the construction site would leave. And they sometimes they would even stay later than that. And so like I would hang out with them, and then when they finally left that night, it was dark as shit. And I just went to the house, laid down, and I was chilling there. And I think it was the gate that I forgot to lock. I think it wasn't so much that the gate was wide open. I think it was closed, but I forgot to lock it or something. And the lock was the only thing that kept it from swinging around. I don't think it swung around or anything like that when I got there. But no lights, dude. No lights. No light pollution either. So you can see stars like crazy out there.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can't see shit. Like, you would think your eyes would adjust to the darkness. When it's that dark, they do not. It's crazy how dark it can get. And so I could not see anything. I knew the pathway. I made it to the thing that I was needing to do. I locked it up, did my thing, turned the thing around, and I'm already freaking out because I've been riding this ATV all day long to put feed out there for the deers. So it was already dying again. Like I had it on the charger, it had a charge, but it had enough for me to go there and back. And as I'm like driving back, it's already like fucking pitch black. Like I had contemplated to just leave the thing there and walk to my uncle's thing. The thing about that though was the only keys that I had was the other house. And so I was like, fuck me. And so I had to go back to the other house, and at that point I was just gonna stay there. And I was like, I might as well get there, plug it in, and stay there. And so I'm driving back, and I'm not familiar with the drive back, especially when it's dark. I fucked up. I think I made a wrong turn, and I ended up going further away, and it started getting dense wood area, and so I was like, this is not the way. And so I was like, I'm pretty sure I can take a left and just follow this way down. And this is where shit kind of hit the fan. This is where I was like, I need to fucking haul ass and get the fuck out of here. Because there was something fucking out there. I don't know what it was, dude. Like
Bill Cosby.
It could have been Bill Cosby. But that motherfucker can run if that was the case. Because I don't know.
They didn't need to drug his victims at all.
Because like, I'm pretty sure it was like dense woods where I was at, and I looked through, and it was kind of like that alien that I showed you from last episode. It was kind of like that, but it was shorter, skinnier, and it was just kind of like standing there next to like shit, and I was like, what the fuck? Kind of like what she was saying earlier. What was it? Skinwalker? What's the other word for them? There's another word. I don't know. But it's kind of like that. I want to say Wendigo, something like that.
Meth head?
Weird. Maybe a meth head. But
Was it Sir Charles?
here's the thing.
He's in all these stories.
There's no way a meth head can run fast like that.
I don't know. You ain't never seen a meth head.
That's the thing,
I've seen
though.
them do some Johnny Bravo shit.
How in the hell can a meth head run on all fours, leaping around like a deer, and keep up with an ATV that can go up to 25 to 30 miles per hour?
I mean, fair enough, but I've also seen a meth head stuffing an entire Glock 19 on their asshole, so...
I mean,
I mean, that seems pretty.
Completely
That
different
seems
things.
pretty impossible to me. So, I mean, a gun is shaped like this, so like it's you got the handle and then the barrel. Like you can only shrink that down to like that. So I mean,
Look.
that dude shoved a small novel in his asshole. That's what
Hold on.
happened.
I'll show you. I'll tell you right now. How
Glocks can fit in an asshole.
a human anus can stretch up to 7 inches before taking damage, and then a raccoon.
So you could almost shit a brick sideways.
Well, here's the thing. Yes. So here's the other thing.
Oh, what we got here?
In theory, you could potentially almost fit 2 raccoons up your asshole. Because a raccoon can fit through a hole 4 inches wide. So, if you can stretch it out 7, if you do one first and then the second one next, you can
Weird how this
theoretically.
came back to bestiality.
I know. I
There
know how
he
it
is.
is. Yes.
Next is
It is a weird
went
fact
from-
that I know.
went from donkeys to raccoons.
I thank Reddit for it. Reddit has showed me the way.
The way?
The way.
That's not how you're supposed to phrase that.
It's not, but you know.
Ooh,
it is-
baby, I love you.
Let the fans question what my sexuality.
I'm a plant sexual. What does that mean? I get naked in the sun.
Photosynthesis.
I'm an ant comb sexual. I don't like to fuck ants, but I like to fuck their combs.
I like the tingling when they bite my Johnson.
Oh God, no. No.
Oh, it burns. It's just like back in gonorrhea school.
Anyways, let's go back to the story. I know we got derailed there, but ATV, the light on the damn thing sucks, so I can't see shit. I'm better. Like I turned that shit off when I was in the dark because I was able to adjust to the darkness.
Mm-hmm.
I hear movement, and I'm like, that's just a fucking deer. And I was like, but it's a deer. I want to see it. And so of course, this is where I fucking see it because there's this flashlight that I had, and I turned it on, I flashed around, and I'm like, where is it? Where is it? And I pass over, and as I pass over, it was quick. So like I couldn't, like, that's what I'm saying. Like I don't know exactly what it was, but it was kind of like crackhead, Wendigo, skinwalker, small, short, next to a tree, and I was like,
Pink?
what the fuck was that? Not pink. It was dark. Like it was like again, it was too dark for me. It was too shadowy too. So like I guess it was like a silhouette of it. And so like I go over it with a flashlight, pass it, freak out because I was like, I know what I just saw. Go right back to where it was, and it's gone. But I'm hearing a lot of rustling noises, and it's getting like closer and closer, and it's like it sounded like it was like flanking me, going around me.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, I'm gonna get the fuck out of here. And so I get on the thing and I just book it. Like I'm going fast, and for some reason I can hear the grass that's on the other side, which is an open field, tall ass grass.
Mm-hmm.
I can hear movement in it, and I hear it getting closer. And so I'm literally fucking hauling ass. Like I'm picking up the speed. I'm going like the full speed of this damn thing, hitting fucking rocks, almost falling off, almost twisting, and I'm freaking out. And like I'm going down it, and like I guess I like gained some distance because that's when because at first I was going like maybe 5-10 miles. I wasn't going too crazy fast because I was like, I know it's a road, like a dirt road, and a bunch of rocks, bumps, stuff like that. When I realized it was next to me, I'm falling all ass. And I gained some distance from it, but I think at this point it had gone more left. And when it went more left, this was towards the other side where I was supposed to be at. And that's when I look back and I can see it like running on all fours, and it's so hard. It was hard to see because it was still in the grass,
Mm-hmm.
and grass is tall, and it's probably like about waist high or higher. And I can kind of see it, and I hear it at a distance, and you can hear like the stampering of it and stuff like that. And I'm freaking out, and it's kind of like jumping here and there, and I'm freaking out because I know the only entrance is like on that side.
Like I have to go there.
Yeah, I have to go there. And I just went for it. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go. I'll get to the edge. I can make it to the fence, and I'm like, I know where this fence is now. I know how to get back to the house from there because it's just a straight shot basically. And at this point, I'm already seeing the light of the house, and so I make my turn, go down the thing, and I'm like, there's something there. I didn't see it anymore, but it was running alongside with me. I don't know if it freaked out because I got close to it or something, but I know had it kept going with me and all that, I know once I made that turn and started making my way there, we were gonna meet. There's no doubt in my mind that was because I didn't see it leave, I didn't see it run away, I didn't see nothing. But I made my turn and I'm sitting there shaking, like fucking trying to like go towards the gate and everything. I'm sitting there like shaking and all that and trying to like find it and all that. I couldn't see anything. I get to the gate, made my turn, and I hauled ass to the fucking house.
Full
Got to
sin.
the house. Yeah, dude, full sin. Got there. Got the ATV on there, plugged it in real quick. Like I'm under the light, so I was more confident now. And I plugged it in, got into the house, and like this is where I'm panicking even more because I couldn't unlock the fucking door. I was sitting there fucking trying to unlock it. Finally unlocked it, got inside, and I was like, "Oh my god,
What the fuck was that?
So again, not a gross story, but shit was nuts that day. And that one, from there, it was just like, as soon as I woke up, I was like, oh, I still gotta do my shit.
Yeah.
And it was like, I mean, let's hope I don't run into it. And of course, I walked around with like a fucking beating stick and stuff like that. Just in case something happened.
Come at me, boy. I'm about to show you some shit.
Yeah. So,
Nice shit.
that was something else that day.
Fuck yeah.
I don't know what it was. And that might be another transition into like cryptids and shit there.
Fuck yeah.
Bigfoot. Who's seen Bigfoot? I've seen Bigfoot.
I mean, my dad wears a size 16 shoes, so does that count?
Yeah, he's Bigfoot.
Well, I guess we want to watch a comedy movie as we come down for the evening, and
I've cried several times.
yeah, we can get back to a happy mood. You know, get some indica couch and.
In the couch. But yeah, that's that. I mean, I feel as though ghosts are real. Cryptids, I think cryptids are 100% real, just because they're undiscovered creatures. You know, you can find any kind of creature that you haven't seen before, and no one's documented it, and that was the cryptid before it was discovered.
You believe in mermaids?
No, not those.
I believe in the megalodon.
I believe in megalodon, more something like that. I mean, Wendigo, I do believe, just because it could just be like a crackhead that's like on some weird type of like rabies. But Bigfoot, sure, Loch Ness Monster, I could see that. You know, mermaid, not so much, just because it's like, I don't think humans have evolved enough to where they can be in the ocean.
Or maybe they just evolved differently.
It could have been like a fish that evolved into a human-like thing. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe. What the fuck was the name of that city? The one underwater.
Atlantis.
Minneapolis. Yeah, Atlantis.
Minneapolis.
Yeah, that's it. I've been there. I don't know why I said that, but yeah. So Atlantis. Maybe it's those fish people. I mean, there's 60% of the ocean that's undiscoverable, or at least undiscovered at the time, at this current time. So, I mean, I think that if there was this so advanced civilization, that they might try to avoid us because they're like, these people are not ready for this type of technology. They are too ignorant. They're gonna kill everything.
Yeah.
So it's 80%.
80%, more than 80% of the ocean has never been mapped, explored, or even seen by humans.
I mean, it is
Megalodon.
possible, man.
Megalodon.
So-
Oh, dude, I'm 100%. I believe that there's got to be. I mean, there's
Still
got to be
dying.
something big enough to eat fucking blue whales.
So there's
Like-
a TikToker that you sent it to me. It was there's a group of scientists that are watching sea turtles and sharks and big whites and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And they typically they have a very set pattern where they swim around and how close they stay to the shores and stuff like that. And they typically stay really close and they never stray off away. And they're all tagged and being GPS located and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there was one that had strayed off. And it's not strange for them to stray off, but it strayed off and it just kept swimming. And naturally, like, you're just like, okay, well, it's just going to keep swimming,
1,500
right?
miles.
Yeah, it went far, and then
In a
almost
short amount of time.
immediately it turned around, and they were like, "There's no way that it's gonna do this without panicking or trying to run away." Like, it was so short of an amount of time, it was so fast. They were like, "It's not gonna do this out of like," because like it took it a while to get out there, and then he moved like in a like I don't know how fast it really was, but it was like almost instantly. It turned around and booked it back to shore. And they're suggesting that something bigger scared it off. Possibly Megalodon, possibly the Kraken, oh, who knows? But something it went out there and something scared it to come right back as
Dude,
fast
like,
as possible.
I 1,000,000,000% believe that there is like fucking crazy shit in the ocean. Because like, first off, just the shit that we've actually observed in the ocean, like the anglerfish.
Giant squids.
Yeah.
Well, for how long has it been rumored that there was, and then all of a sudden we find them?
Dude,
It's
and
so
And they're
freaky to see
probably the
videos
baby
of them.
versions too.
yeah. Can
Freaky
you
to see
imagine how
eye
big the
on.
huge one, the real big ones? Like
Yeah.
that is it's inconceivable. Like it's crazy. Yeah, dude, I believe that there is fucking shit out there that that we have not discovered yet. I mean, obviously with the ocean being 80% unexplored, you've got quite a few land masses. Well, I don't know if it's quite a few land masses. I know that for sure there's a large portion of Antarctica that has not been explored.
There's the Northeast
Um,
Territory in Canada. It is a massive territory that's just too rugged for human life. And they even shut it down to like state parks and stuff because it's so dangerous. Like, and it's mapped, but not completely. Like, we just don't go in there because it's so dangerous. Like, we don't want people going in there. It's a massive, massive area.
I want to go
Just in
now.
Canada. I know. I was looking at pictures. It's beautiful.
Let's go on a 10-week
It is
survival trip out there.
Fucking gorgeous.
Come back, fucking Blair Witch
But
style.
there are haunting stories about it too.
Fuck yeah.
That's what I was listening to.
You can haunt these nuts.
About headless corpses and things like that.
Nice. So, cryptids, high possibility chance of being real. I believe ghosts are real. I believe aliens are real. We'll go ahead and cut the podcast there.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for listening again. If you enjoyed it, like, subscribe. You'll earn more tits that way. I mean,
You'll get yourself closer to a second tit.
yeah,
You guys are the tit.
you are
But-
the tit.
You're the uniboob right now, which,
You're the
let's be real. At a college party, probably a uniboob would be more interesting than people with two. But, as life goes on, you're like, you just kind of, I got one more hand. I'd like to be able to honk honk. So, we'll get y'all guys up to 2 tits.
Hopefully soon.
Yeah.
All right.
Enjoy, fellers and fellettes.
See you the fuck later.